Hello, Zack in Colorado Springs. See more better here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and today I'm going to take you on about a 30-minute journey, a blog if you will, as I cut drill mount lenses for your Silhouette model 7581, which is one of the memory metal titaniums. The shape is 7580. The color is the 6075. We're going to have a 21 millimeter bridge or 150 temple length. Let me take everything out of the box as it comes from Silhouette, if it will come out. Of course, your Silhouette cleaning cloth. We'll leave all that there. Your magnetic flap case. The sleeves that will hold it together. Your Silhouette frame and a little bit of junk mail because you just don't get enough in your regular mailbox. But at least this time, it's in multiple languages. So, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas and they're preparing themselves for a Happy New Year. I'm going to go ahead and get to work here, and this is a teal color, I believe. I forget the name Silhouette actually assigns to this, but this is how they come, the three pieces that are together, and I'll start to disassemble that later. But let's show something first here. This is the shape that we'll be cutting. I'm going to manually show how I put the drill holes into that shape. First things first, let's go ahead. Normally I would place the lens on here. I'm going to take this off. Well, I'll let you see what the computer tells me. We are going to take a picture this time. We're not going to, there's no frame to trace. So we're going to take a picture of the right lens and we're going to use a pattern to do that. And we're going to hit start. The computer is preparing itself. It's telling me the initialization process and to remove any objects from the optical chamber, which this is. Check. Next is going to tell me to position the object to be read in the chamber. I will place that there. This is the same little platform that I have used. I will put that there and then hit check. It wants to know the bridge size, so I will say 21 millimeters. Check. And that is the shape that we will be cutting. I can go ahead and take that off now. So we're going to move this forward. And then I'm going to hit the drill bit icon, which tells me the machine now knows it's a drill. I'm going to add a drill bit. Add. I could put a notch or something like that. And I'm just going to place it right there. Now the coordinates, I could have the computer pull everything up for me, but I'm going to do it manually. The temporal drill holes, the outermost one is 3.2 millimeters, 3.25, excuse me, from the B, which is the center of the lens. So that button there, I'm going to tell the coordinates are going to be, I will hold this down if I can hold it down. Come on now, come on. There we go, 3.25. Check. I needed to have it 2 millimeters from the edge of the lens, so I'll hold that there, 2.0, and we are done there. Now it also tells me it's a 1.4 millimeter hole. That is good. Let's add another one and then just tap the screen. Oh, I'm not supposed to do it there. Let's hang on. Tap it there. But again, this time the hole is going to be 3.4 millimeters away from there. So we're going to, oops, hang on, type in 3.4. I want it an additional 3 millimeters from this hole, which means a total of 5. Up, we're good there. 5 millimeters here. And again, 1.4 millimeter hole. So let me just check. 3.25, 3.25, 2 millimeters from the edge, 3.4 millimeters, 5 millimeters from the edge with a 1.4. So we're going to add the nasal holes, which are here. I'm going to tap right there. Again, give the coordinates. This one is going to be 4.35 millimeters from the middle of the lens. 4.35. Check. Make sure that's a 1.4 millimeter hole. We need the outermost one 2 millimeters from the edge. 2.0 millimeters. Now we're going to do one more here. We're going to add another one. Did I tap that? Right there. This 2 is also going to be 4.35 millimeters. 4.35 millimeters. Check. And we're going to make this one 5 millimeters from the edge. An additional 3 millimeters over from the first hole. and it is actually already there, luckily. Again, 1.4 millimeter hole. I want to check all of these. 1.4 millimeter, 1.4 millimeter, 1.4 millimeter hole that the sleeves will fit into. So we're going to hit check. Excuse me. I picked up a little tickle in the throat over the holidays. I need to add your pupillary distance now, which is 31 for your right eye. Computer starts at 32.5. We're going to hit the minus button a couple times till we get to 31.5. Excuse me, 31. I'm glad I checked that. I do want to raise the optical height of the lens, the optical where it's going to sit in front of your pupil. Let's raise that up a couple millimeters to 21. Actually, with this shape being somewhat round, let's go ahead. Yeah, 21 is good. 21 is good. So, if it were a deeper lens, I would go a little higher, but let's stay with that. So, I do not need that anymore. Those are the coordinates. I need to go ahead and get your lenses prepped. I need to put that back on there after your lenses are prepped. So your right eye reads minus 2 1/4 sphere. One of these, well, let's just find out. Put it in. We're going to put the zero everything out where it's supposed to be. Let's find 2 1/4 sphere. Put the lens in and rotate it. And this one has a little bit of astigmatism, so this has got to be the right lens. Quite literally the right lens. We're going to move everything around until, hang on. That's it. That is it. That is your right lens. I'm going to just check one more thing here. Get everything centered a little bit better. A little bit better. And I'm going to put, really I only need, I'm putting 3 dots on your lens, but I only need 1 because there is no astigmatism. I'm going to place the right lens there. Let's do the same thing now for the left. Turn the axis wheel to 73. Put the power drum on minus 2 and then rotate your lens until the spherical component comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction. Everything looks well. That's lined up well there. Let's put 3 dots on your lenses. And let's go ahead and mark this one L. Now if you missed any of that, let me recap. Telling you, when the clown gets to laugh at work, it's a good day at work. So, this is a block. I will need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting, so I need a double-sided adhesive sticker, of which I've got a couple right here. I'm going to pull these off. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to lay the first one. You see that, my Christmas wrapper accident, and place this one on the next one. Pull the paperweight to make the black side sticky. Now on the back is a silver button that is a magnet. It's going to hold it, do its job twice today. The first time it's going to hold itself or attach itself to something magnetical there in the arm. I'm going to place that one there. I can drop that one there for when I need it next. The reason why I put the dots on there, it tells me that it's oriented and they're just right. So even though this is a spherical lens, I'm going to go through the habit of doing it correctly. This blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. If you were to measure vertically and horizontally on the lens, I should say, your eye is just above that in inset, so 31, 21, that is where it's supposed to be. I'm going to hit that button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. We'll do the same thing for the left lens. Let's go ahead and take that. Now, that's the reason I put those 3 dots on there. It's going to tell me that it's oriented in there perfectly. Your pupillary distance for your left lens is 31.5. It has mirrored the right. So I'm going to tap the plus button 1 time because it goes up in 0.5 millimeter increments to 31.5. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. Line up the magnet. Get the dots exactly where they're supposed to be. Can you see the drill holes that will go into your lens? So, get everything lined up there. Hit the button, the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the left lens. Now, I'll need that. This is the edger. This is what's going to do all the work, and there is the drill bit that you will see come into play a little bit later. In fact, let's go ahead and introduce him, shall we? Let's pull him out into play so everyone can see him before the work begins. Good time to clean the machine too. Get that off of there. So that is the drill bit back there. This is, well, okay, I did it in reverse order. That's the drill bit. This is This is the cutting wheel that's going to do all the work while I talk. Now, let me back up. This machine is $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out, buy their own, put it on your kitchen counter. Then you won't need this guy anymore to cut the lenses for you, because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. The cutting wheel is right here. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material until it's the final size. This wheel that normally puts the V-shaped bevel onto the lens is going to smooth out the edge of your lens. It's going to be completely flat. This is a polishing wheel, and this is one of those instances that I would polish the edge of a lens because there is no frame to see it, but we discussed ahead of time we will not polish the edge of the lens. Partially is because he has the Crizal anti-glare coating on these lenses. It eliminates glare from coming in not just the front but the rear portion of the lens, and when you polish the edge of the lens you allow glare to come in from the sides. So you're paying for anti-glare coating on the front and the back, and then people, they may not ask for it. Most optical shops will polish the edge of the lens without people asking them. Now, it is a nicer cosmetic look for the sake of argument. It makes your lenses look thinner from the side, but how often are people looking at you from the side then making direct eye contact with you? So it's the age-old question, form versus function. Do you want to see well or look better? Most people want to see the best that they can. How many people are literally looking at the edge of your lenses? So a lot of times people complain about glare in their semi-rimless frames. The first thing I have them do is cup their hands over their head, just like you were looking in a window at a store. Once you block the light from the top and the sides from getting in the edge of your lenses, all that glare goes away. So I'm not going to polish the edge of your lens. You've heard me make reference to it, and that's exactly why I don't like to do it. So let's pull up the shape we are doing. That is it. Now, most of the time I'm cutting polycarbonate lenses. We're going to go with the Trivex here. Just in this case, it was a special request, and I will allow it. So had they been polycarbonate plastic, high index plastic, I would select that, but we are going with Trivex, the TR. Again, I'm not going to polish the edge of your lens. I am going to put a safety bevel, a very slight safety bevel on the front surface of the lens, the convex. I'm going to put a heavier safety bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. This is the right lens. I'm going to press that on there well and hit start. The door is going to close. The clamp is going to shut, and then the lens is going to be traced by two white styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit in there. Of course, there is no frame, but you can see the shape that it is cutting. And then the unique thing, it's going to tap to measure the thickness where the four drill holes are going to be, two on each side, just to make sure there's enough thickness there in the lens. I want to double tap Trivex, flat edge, drilling, soft mode, no polish, light front bevel, heavier safety bevel. So again, a new thing, you can see water spraying onto the lens. Trivex plastic and high index plastic cut wet. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry. But since these are Trivex, water will spray onto the lens for the whole cutting cycle. Now, Trivex lenses are thinner and lighter than regular plastic, just like the polycarb I usually use. They have 100% UVA and UVB protection, just like polycarbonate. It also has the unbreakable characteristic of polycarbonate, but he wanted to go with Trivex. Trivex costs a little bit more. He did not mind that, but it's also a great material to use in drill mount frames because it is unbreakable. Now, you can use high index as well, but high index costs even more, and it was not needed in this case. Now you can see a little bit of the optical sawdust that is on the edge of the lens there. That will be cleaned off later. Now, you have the Crizal anti-glare coating on your lenses. Anti-glare is 3 features in one. It eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain. This lens does not have it, but street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights, and the such. So it also goes by the initials ARC because it stands for anti-reflective coating. So there's much less reflection when someone is looking at you. They don't see their eyes in your lenses. It makes for much better eye contact. Plus, if someone takes a picture of you with a flash, you won't see the flash lit up in the lens, or in a selfie. It just makes for much better eye contact again. But the machine that applies the Crizal anti-glare coating costs well over $1 million. It takes over 24 hours to vaporize 8 different coatings onto your lens. So because of the time and the expense, Crizal puts the industry's hardest scratch coating on there to protect your time and investment. So your lens is completely flat, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out now, it would stand up on its own. A lever just came out that has a little spinning wheel on there like you would find on a Dremel tool. That's applying the safety bevel. It is just smoothing out the very edge, front surface edge of the lens that's left over from the cutting cycle. After doing that, it's going to do the same thing for the rear concave surface of the lens. Let's see if that Schwarf comes off. Let's see. If not, I'll be glad to take it off. Trivex has a little bit more of that than poly. It's rare to have that much on a lens at the end. And so now the drill bit is coming out and it's going to reverse direction. It is now drilling the first hole through the lens. And then it's going to wiggle it out a little bit. It is a 1mm drill bit. The hole itself is 1.4 millimeters. So once it goes through, it's just going to give it a little bit of a wiggle to add 0.4 millimeters to the circumference of the hole that these sleeves will fit into. These little tiny sleeves. Yes, it says Adidas because Silhouette has paired with Adidas to make some sunglasses and frames, and those sleeves fit both models. These are the drill holes that it is going into. I'm wearing the same model, the 7581. So it cuts out the shape of the lens first and then drills 2 holes here to mount the bridge, 2 holes here to mount the temple. Let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing. Now in just a moment I will open this door with my mind. I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. Just have to stare at it for a couple hours, but I can do it. So let's get some of this residue off right there. Drop that into the trash. Dry the lens off. There's some more little residue. Throw that in the trash. Grab that, throw that in there. Dry my hand off, dry the lens off. And we can go ahead and start cutting the left lens. So let's flip that over to L, press down on there. Hit the button, the door closes, the clamp shuts. And then the lens is going to be traced again by the 2 white styluses, making sure that it's large enough for the shape that we had chosen. Measuring the thickness of the lens at every point, and then it's going to check the 4 spots where the drill holes will be, making sure there's enough thickness on the inside there. Ooh, there's a nice long piece. So I'm going to use my thumbnail while the left lens is cutting. I'm going to go ahead and continue to work on the right. Going to clean everything up here. Trivex has a little bit extra than the other lens materials that I use. Bring that into play. I apologize if any of this was ever out of focus. I cannot see what you guys are seeing with the camera mounted on my head. So I'm going to go ahead, take the sleeves out of this bag here from the perforated edges. I'm going to drop those onto the counter there. This is no longer needed. They are all out. This is what is going to, this is called a bushing. I can go ahead and start taking this apart now. You can take the temple off first, take the bridge off next. That temple, that is no longer needed. So this is what is going to attach and hold everything together. Hopefully you can see that. I always like to start at the bridge. I'm going to push that through. I'm going to trim off the excess just like with a cigar cutter. Put that there and hit snip. That is good. I always clean this out for the next time I use it. My favorite optical tool, which is a thumbtack. I open up the holes here to make it easier to put the post through. And I'm going to go ahead and, that's making a noise, isn't it? Putting my finger in the back so the bushing does not slide out. I give it a start pushing the posts in. This is the tool I will use to clamp it together. It says Adidas on one side, Silhouette on the other. It is a pair of pliers with a little moving tip for the shape of the lens because it takes into contact the thickness, the contour. I'm going to put the flat side there, the blue side, and then the little pivoting point goes in the front. And I'm going to gently push on the front. Wants to push it out the back. Get everything lined up there. These are the hard bushings. They also make some soft ones, but I do feel the hard grip a little bit better. They're a little bit harder to work with. Maybe that's why they call them the hard ones. And now that is on there very securely. I'm going to do the same thing for the right temple, which this is not. Oh, you need to put a bushing in there first. I'm going to trim this. Go ahead and take the excess out that could be trapped in there. Again, using the thumbtack. I press these down a little bit when it cuts, so I'm just going to use this to open them back up, making it easier for the post to slide in. Making sure which one is which. That is the correct one. Using my thumb to keep it from pushing out the back, I press in there. And then squeeze that together until it goes through. Give it a good clamp. We are good to go there. I can go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. Pull the sticker off, drop that there, and this gives me an opportunity to place one more sticker on my monster. Let's fill out the side, shall we? It's the holidays. We need to get a little bit thicker in the middle. Let's come back here. The drill is putting the drill holes into the lens. Now normally I would come down here and inspect the lens to make sure it's right, but I cannot tell if it's sitting in there properly with just one lens, so I have to wait to do that at the end. Now, Zack, on the count of 3, I want you to open the door with your mind. 1, 2, 3. Hey, very good, Zack. First day on the job and you already did it right. Let's go ahead and take the lens out. Remove some of that excess debris that's on the lens. Dry everything off there. Give it an inspection, run the thumbnail around to make sure all the optical sawdust is off the edge of the lenses. Now there are many types of drill mount. This is known as a drill mount because they literally drill holes in the lens to mount them. There are many types of drill mount frames out there. I've had the best success with Silhouette. There are some that use nuts and bolts to keep it together. Those invariably come loose, and you will know your optician very well because you'll be going back several times. Actually, it looks like it drilled right through one of those black dots, so let me clean that off before I put the bushing in there. Can I do it? Can I do it? It's pretty cool. Never had it done that before. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in there. Trim off the excess that has come through. Clean the tool first. Clean the lens second. Go ahead, oops, I see a little bit more of the lens I can clean before I get everything put together, and I won't be able to reach it anymore. I'm going to use my thumb to initially push the post into that spot. And then use the pliers to begin to crimp everything together, going back and forth in a rocking motion when necessary. That is good. Now let's do the same thing, the last bushing here. See a little bit more of that lens I can clean. Oh, that Trivex. Don't you worry about it. I'm going to work on this till it's perfect. Put that through there. Again, trim off the excess. Last time I need to clean the tool just to make sure the debris is not in there. Open these posts up, or the holes, open the bushings up where the post will go. Let me use the correct language. And then, yep, make sure that's the right one. Press that in there. Always press down from the top. Put the flat part in the back, the bushings in the front. And gently press until it goes inside. Give it another extra little press. And we are good. I can go ahead and take this block off. Pull that off. Again, I'm going to make it a little bit thicker in the middle. Now I can come down here and clean up my mess. I'll come back and clean all that up. Don't you worry. I can come down and inspect your lenses. Your right lens is -2 1/4 sphere. Press that in there right above that red dot, and when I read the power, I'm getting, where's my flashlight? -2 1/4. One tick mark away from 2, 2.5, 275, 3. Now the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, starting at 0 and going up in 0.25 increments. So you're on the 9th rung of a ladder essentially. You are you are nearsighted. You need 9 steps of correction to see far away. When you have your glasses off, everything is much too small, or what am I saying? I still have a Christmas hangover from all the food I ate. So with your glasses off, everything is much too large. So that's why there's a minus sign in front of that number. When you put your lenses on, it will minify down to the correct size. Now, we don't have to worry about any astigmatism correction. Your right eye is purely spherical. Your left eye you need 8 steps of farsighted correction. And then once everything is the correct size, you need an additional 2 steps of astigmatism correction. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. Essentially, you have 2 curves on your eye. One curve, the -2, the spherical curve going this way. Then you have a slightly steeper curve this way, which is the 2 steps of astigmatism. That's how we line up those 2 curves to make everything nice and crisp. And we're going to turn that fine tune knob to 73, which it will stay at. And let's put it on the left lens. How about that? We are getting -2, and then you have 2 steps of astigmatism correction, and we end up at -250, exactly halfway between 2 and 3, so that is made perfectly. Your pupillary distance is 31 for your right eye, 31.5 for the left. So when I hold this card up, I'm going to place my PD stick on your right lens against my thumb, and then when we hold it up to the left lens, we're getting 62.5. I didn't know there was going to be so much math involved. 31.31.5 is 62.5, and that is what we are getting. So now this is the point in every video that as I clean your lenses, I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there is an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. So just stop by your local place, tell them if it's too loose or too tight, or better yet, if it's high on one side. And I'm part of that 80%. I have one ear that sits higher than the other as well. It's hard to demonstrate on mine because the memory metal is so springy. But if you set it down, you can see a little bit how that side sits a little bit higher. But I will check all that for you. I'm going to get it in standard alignment, also known as the 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. Sit there at sitting level. Flip that over. There is no wobble. Of course, there's no hinges to check here because it is the very springy memory metal. Now, you have the transitions brown, so I'm going to go ahead and activate those in my transitions box here, which means I'm going to expose them to a strong burst of UV light. Now, as you can see, all transition lenses take about 30 to 45 seconds to darken when you go outside. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside, 45 seconds to a minute 15. Now, Zach, this is important. Pay attention. All transition lenses will get dark on day 1 and continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks they're exposed to the sun. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time transition Signature 7 lenses won't work is if you're behind the windshield of a car. Your windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays that would cause your dashboard to crack from sitting in the sun all day, and that's why they don't turn dark in a car. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken. The other thing is they're temperature sensitive, meaning they will get darker when it's 85 degrees and below than they will when it's 95 and above. We all work better in cooler weather. When it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable. Nobody works 100% when it's 100 degrees outside. So this is the first time they've been activated. Don't worry, this transitions brown will keep getting darker. Come on, Zach, we talked about that. Don't you remember? So again, satin polish. I did not polish the edge of the lens. If anyone has any questions, you can email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the Contact Me button on the website. Or better yet, leave your question or even a comment down below in the comment section, because other people will get the chance to read it and you may give them an idea they did not think of themselves. So it's just like raising your hand in a classroom and asking a question. Everyone benefits from it if you leave the question in the comment section. So you can subscribe to my channel if you liked what you saw and you want to see more of these videos. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook as Free Prescription Lenses. You can follow me on Twitter at FreeRxLenses. And you can see as it's lightening as I continue to talk. Zack, I'm going to include not only instructions on how to care for your frame and your lenses so they will last you for years, but you're going to get 3 cleaning cloths. One of my premium microfiber cleaning cloths, one from Crizal and one from Silhouette. I'll also give you instructions on how to care for those, so those 2 will last you for years. I also include a selfie request to have your picture on the website. I would love to have more selfies of silhouettes. So Zack, I'm counting on you now. And again, you're going to get my premium one, which you're going to like better than the other three. Mine's just thicker and better, and you're going to end up using it a lot more than the Crizal one. You can leave this one in your car, you can leave this one at work or in your case. This will be the one you use. That's what everyone tells me. So you can see as it's returning lighter and lighter. So that's it. Again, leave a comment if I can be of any more help. Zack in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut the Shape 7580 lens for your Silhouette series 7581. Silhouette makes several ones. Now I do not have this listed on the website because they have so many different styles of chassis. They have a traditional hinge, which is like, you know, most other frames that you can, has a pivot point, a screw. These are the memory metal. Now, nothing on God's green earth is unbreakable, but these will take more abuse than just about any other frame, one of the most durable ones out there. These are the only frames that are allowed into space with NASA because there's no screws to ever come loose and very few adjustments needed if you bump your head in zero gravity. But just email me if you would like a pair of Silhouettes. You're going to have to do your research in your hometown where you find out the series that you want. First, find out the model. Is it one of the memory metals? And there's a couple versions of those. And then which model you want, which shape lens you want. And then you're going to need to tell me the width of the bridge. The bridge comes in 3 sizes, 17, 19, and 21. These come in different lengths. Of course, this is the 150 temple length, which is good for most. And don't get hung up on the term 150. It means it's 150 from the front of the lens to here. This one is 140. It's usually from the center of the screw head back. So even though there is a few extra millimeters here, if you were to measure the entire temple length, it's longer than 140 because there's probably about an extra 5 or 6 millimeters from the center of the screw head forward. But that's how eyeglasses measure. The A measurement is from the corner of this lens to the corner of that lens. The bridge, also known as the DBL, which stands for distance between lenses, is 21. That's how you measure that. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of research if you want me to do these. Again, find out the series, the color you want, the shape of the lens. Now this comes in 2 sizes, a 48 and a 50. He went with the 48 eye size, and then I can make them for you. So again, Zack in Colorado Springs. Hope you enjoyed watching as I made transitions brown lenses with Crizal anti-glare for your series 7581 color 6075 with the 7580 shape and a 48 eye size. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.